Hello and welcome to this speed build, which is going to be the first of about 5 speed builds, well exactly 5 speed builds that I am making for a particular let's play that I want to start in The Sims 4. And the reason I'm doing 5 builds for this let's play is that it's going to be, I guess, what I'm calling a neighbourhood let's play. I think I've also heard like this particular kind of Sims 4 playstyle be called rotational let's play. Oh yeah, rotational gameplay, I guess. And yeah, that is what I would like to do. I'd like to do a series where we have 4 families which we're focusing on, and I've just chosen, I guess, almost the most basic neighbourhood that exists in the game. Like I think it's called Bargain Bend, like the very cheapest neighbourhood you can live in Willow Creek. And yeah, I thought that would be a nice place to start. So we're gonna have 4 families, and then I'm also gonna do 1 community lot also in this neighbourhood, which I can use for them to hang out and just to kind of have as a bit of a different setting when we want it. And yeah, I've already made all the families for this let's play, the 4 different families. The family that I want to live on this lot are called the Aguilera family, and they are a kind of big multi-generational family. I think there's 7 Sims and 1 dog in the household, and yeah, they've got a kind of grandma matriarch at the head of the family, who is called Carla, I believe, if I remember what I called her. Yes, she's called Carla, and her story is that she's going to be a kind of self-employed painter, and she's going to live in this little annex that I'm kind of just working on at the moment that you can see on screen. And it's a kind of garage slash annex. I've ended up like furnishing it pretty modern. The idea in my head was that it could be like the family kind of like have built this extension recently because they wanted the grandma to move back in with them. Maybe she was getting a bit old, and they also wanted to like build a garage for their cars. But one of the garages is actually going to be used as a like painting studio, or that's how I've got it set up, and so that will be Carla, the grandma's painting studio. So this is kind of like her little area of the lot over here, and then she just has her own little 1-bed kind of flat, granny flat that she lives in. And then going on from there, we have 2 parents in this household as well. They are Maria and Sean. So Maria is going to be like a kind of high-powered lawyer, very ambitious, and yeah, very kind of like straight-talking, confident, mum, I think, that we're going to have in this household, and she's the kind of breadwinner of the family. And then we have Sean, who is going to be a stay-at-home dad, and yeah, it's just made him to be like just a real all-round family man. He spends his time looking after the kids, he's really good at cooking, he does loads of like fun backyard games, and yeah, I haven't decided if I'm gonna like maybe get him a part-time job or something. Potentially as the kids grow up, I could think about doing something like that for him, just to make sure that he's busy enough. But yeah, I think definitely in the beginning he is kind of a homemaker. Yes, and then we also have 4 kids in this family. So we've got Mateo, Anna, Luis, and Sophia. Mateo is the oldest, he's a teenage boy, and I think I'm going to give him a babysitting job. And again, he's meant to be kind of soft-hearted person, I suppose. Also potentially quite musical, so that like this family in general are a bit creative. But I think one of the personality traits is just kind of like liking the adventurous sports, and I kind of decorated his room to be in line with those 2 things, so yeah, I'll probably have him do a few of those activities. And then we have Anna, who is the girl child in this family, and she is also very musical. And then there is Luis, who is a little toddler boy. I can't really remember what his personality is. I mean, he's a toddler, so I don't think he has that one. I think I made him fussy. I think he's maybe going to be a slightly difficult child. I thought would be fun. And then little Sophia is just an infant at the moment. And yeah, one of the aspects I'm gonna have with this neighbourhood Let's Play is that I'm gonna put all the families on short lifespan, I think, so the families will kind of like evolve as gameplay goes on. And yeah, I think keeping it on short lifespan, it kind of just keeps it exciting, like it keeps things changing, especially because I'm going to be playing with 4 different families. It's quite nice to like see progress happen quite quickly, I guess. So yeah, I think I'm going to have them all on short lifespan. And yeah, so this lot is kind of like their big family home, and they have the biggest lot, I think, out of all the families in this Let's Play. And I tried to like make it pretty cozy, pretty homey. Both homes are pretty cluttered. I like the idea that this family is like, they're kind of like very busy and chaotic, and especially like the grandma, who's a painter, has like had this like nice modern annex kind of like built and done up for her, but potentially that's like not really her style, so she's done her best to kind of like clutter it up and make it a bit like, I don't know, lived in, messier, kind of more homey. And then also the family's actual big house themselves is also fairly cluttered in a lot of ways. Again, I suppose I was just trying to like keep that realistic in terms of like how a big family is when they're in a space. Like, I think there is just like a lot of chaos and mess, and so yeah, kind of built the house with that in mind. And this family, I should have mentioned, also have a dog, Wallace, who is a Bernese mountain dog, and he's definitely like a big friendly giant. And I gave a few of the family's pets in this Let's Play. I just really enjoy playing with pets. I feel like it adds a nice dynamic to the game. And yeah, so they have their kind of like beloved family dog, Wallace, which is very nice. And yeah, this is their house. I tried to fit it into the kind of Willow Creek style a little bit, so looking at the surrounding houses, I tried to make all of the houses kind of like feel a little bit cohesive, but I definitely didn't want them to be matching. Like, the idea is not that these houses were like all built at the same time or anything, or like exactly in the same style, so they kind of like tried to use the same roof like texture for them, but maybe use different colours or something. But yeah, that was kind of the idea. And yeah, this is definitely like the nicest house on the street, I would say. But yeah, so we're kind of moving on to work on the main house a little bit now. And yeah, this whole build, I think, took me 5 hours or something when I was looking at the footage for like how long it took me to create, which is insane. I don't think it should have taken me that long. Like, it's literally just one family home. I'm not normally that slow at building, but I think it was also, I built this house in January, so it's actually from a couple of months ago. But I hadn't done a lot of Sims 4 building in a while, so I think maybe I was just like getting back into the swing of it, I suppose. But yeah, I did try to cut this video down a bit. Obviously, I didn't want it to be too long. But yeah, as you can see, we're kind of like decorating the outside of the house. I definitely, for this house, I think mostly used the cats and dogs pack for decoration. I kind of like doing that, at least when I'm doing the outside of a house, just because I feel like it helps make a house look cohesive. I mean, I'm sure people who are like more talented at design could probably like make a house look very cohesive without needing to just like stick to one pack. And I definitely don't stick to one pack when I get to the inside of a house, or like, yeah, to doing the rooms and stuff, but at least with the outside of it, like with the outside wall texture and the windows and the doors and stuff, yeah, I'm pretty sure I basically just use cats and dogs. That's probably just because I really like the style of that pack, the kind of Brindleton Bay, like New England style. I think it's a bit based on, I don't know, I could have got that wrong. I'm not American, so I don't know, but that's what it reminds me of, at least. Or kind of like Long Beach, maybe like that kind of style, like big weatherboard houses and stuff. But yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking when I was building this house. And yeah, so it is a fairly big house. I wanted it to sort of be deceptively big, so from the outside it doesn't look like too grand and like outrageous. Like this, the family like isn't necessarily very showy. It's also like not a super showy neighborhood. Like maybe this house like used to be smaller and they've just like built it up into the roof to like create these extra rooms, and like have slowly made it bigger over time and like built their own pool. But yeah, as I said, they're not like in the super wealthy part of town or anything, so they're, yeah, definitely like the house is kind of, although it is definitely like big and nice, I didn't want it to be like too showy or anything like that. And yeah, I've kind of almost finished off the layout now, but yeah, I was very keen that all the kids would have their own room. I actually cut out quite a lot of me doing the floor plan because it took me forever to figure out, like, I mean, the house is very symmetrical, it's like a very easy shape, but yeah, for some reason I still struggled with like trying to fit everything in, and like I don't know, just like making it kind of almost, to be honest, like making it feel big enough on the inside, even though it kind of is a big house. And I think it's just because it's such a big family, there were so many bedrooms to fit in. So yeah, upstairs you have like one big bathroom for all the kids, and then also yeah, all four of them each have their own bedroom, and I was keen for that because, like, as I said, I want the kids to like grow up through as the like Let's Play progresses, and so I kind of want them to each be able to have their own room for when that happens. And then going downstairs, there is the parents' room and also a study on one side of the house, and the parents have an ensuite, and there's also just like a little family downstairs loo, I guess. And then on the other side of the house, there's a kind of combined kitchen diner. It's not super formal, it's like quite an informal setting, and then a sitting room and also a little laundry room. I quite like playing with the laundry pack, even though I feel like sometimes it can get a bit bugged, but I don't know, I think it just like adds another challenge to the game, which I kind of enjoy, and I really love all the items that came with the pack as well, so yeah, I definitely have fun playing with that. But yeah, as you can see, I'm now working on the landscaping of the house for a little bit. I did put quite a lot of effort into all these houses to, I guess, making them fit with the landscaping that already exists in the neighbourhood. Like, you can kind of see there's some like plants and stuff alongside the road and the trees that are like already in the neighbourhood, and yeah, I wanted it to feel very cohesive. I guess like with The Sims 4, obviously you're a bit, I mean, like limited or constrained maybe by what already exists in the world. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because The Sims 4 worlds are basically beautiful. Like, they're almost one of the best things about the game. Like, I don't know, they're clearly so much effort has been put into them, and like, yeah, I don't know, I think they do look really cool. The setting is amazing, especially I've been playing like The Sims 2 recently, and I mean, it's just like night and day in terms of like how detailed and interesting the world is to like walk around. I mean, I know that kind of comes with the sacrifice of like not being able to have an open world or anything, having to load between lots, but to me, I almost don't mind that so much. Like, I think that being able to have a world that looks this nice is kind of worth it. I mean, even on this lot, we've got this kind of like community garden right next to the house, which I haven't quite thought about a way that it might be nice to try and introduce that into the gameplay a bit. There is someone in one of the other families who I think I'm going to maybe have be a gardener as like their part-time job, so I guess they might want to practice on this community garden. But obviously this family are in the house that is like right next to the community garden, so it might make sense for some of them to get a bit involved. I can maybe imagine that for the grandma, like the Carla, who's going to be a painter, partly because I did already put a bunch of like potted plants both in her house and outside her house, so I can imagine that she's like just a bit of a plant hobbyist, and so maybe she likes to make use of the little gardening patch when she can. But yeah, we have begun to move on to a bit of the furnishing. I do jump around a little bit as I build things, like that's just kind of my style. I'm sorry if it's annoying to watch, but like I kind of like to just like go where the like inspiration takes me a little bit, I suppose, like each time I'm working on something. So like, I mean, I was just working on landscaping in the garden for a long time, and I will go back to that a bit at the end as well, but like I think sometimes I'm just like, oh, I've got an idea for what I want to do with this room, and then I just want to do it while it's in my head. So maybe that's what happened here, I don't know, I can't remember, but But yeah, so I did that kind of upstairs bathroom. I love the like big tub under the circle window. I think that looks so cool. And yeah, I definitely like made the upstairs feel a bit more like a kind of attic extension. Like all the floors are wooden, even in the bathroom, apart from a little bit of tile where the shower is. And yeah, I just wanted it to feel kind of like it had been sort of like built anew, I guess. So yeah, maybe this used to be a bungalow and the family have owned it for a long time, have lived in this part of town for a long time, and then thanks to Maria, the mum, being this like very successful lawyer, they've been able to like expand upwards and give all the kids their own rooms, and also like build this nice pool out the back that we're working on now. Yeah, I don't know, I like thinking about those storylines like as I go through the building of it a bit. But yeah, so yeah, just working on the outside a bit more again. We just did a bathroom and now we're back to the outside. I'm sorry about that. I love how easy it is to like give people pools in The Sims 4. Like obviously it feels like in real life having a swimming pool is like such a luxury, or just something that like really not a lot of people have, but I don't know, maybe they're more common in America, I don't know, but it's like, for me it always feels so funny that it's like you've got like this nice big family house and you're like, yeah, chuck in a pool, why don't they have a pool? Like it's just so easy. But it's also kind of good because like there's not that much that The Sims can do with like big open spaces, so I kind of like that it'll end up being like a bit of a focus point for people when they're in the house, because it just kind of, yeah, like gives something people to do when they're out in the garden, and it's also kind of like is the bit that joins the two elements of this house together, so the granny annex and the main house are kind of like connected via the garden. So yeah, maybe they like all come out and have like a big family barbecue in the summer. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. I also really like these, I did like the big windows out of half of the garage, because that is the half that I'm going to be turning into the painted studio, which is obviously a bit unrealistic. Like normally you wouldn't have massive windows in a garage or anything like that. But I thought like maybe they built it because that they knew the granny would want to use it as a painted studio, or like maybe she's just like gone in afterwards and done that herself because she's been like, you don't need space for 2 cars, like this is where my easel can go instead, and then it just like lets in all of this really nice light, which I mean in real life would be beautiful to like have a painting studio like that would be very cool. And yeah, I think now we are moving on to furnishing the granny annex and doing the kind of like internal design of it a little bit. And yeah, so for this granny annex I ended up using more of the Snowy Escape pack, I think, at least for the kind of like walls and windows, and those big garage doors I think might also be Snowy Escape. And there wasn't a particular reason for that. Like, I mean, I guess the stuff is kind of modern, which is sort of what I wanted for this. Although, I mean, definitely the annex doesn't look super modern, like the weatherboard and stuff. It's like they've built it to be in the style of the houses that already exist on this street, but actually, because it is a new build, they've made the inside a bit more like modern and up to date potentially. So yeah, all the bathroom and the kitchen and everything is like pretty modern. So yeah, I ended up using a lot of the Snow Escape pack for that. And yeah, now we're just kind of putting together the Granny's kind of kitchen, living, diner. And yeah, I wanted to make it like, I guess modern, but also sort of a cozy space, you know, like it's just her in here. I guess the idea is that maybe she was married, but either her like husband has passed away, like the family's grandfather has already passed away, and so like that's why she's moved back in here, or I don't know, maybe he's just like estranged and doesn't live with the family. Like, I haven't really thought that part of the storyline through, I guess, but the idea is that the granny lives here by herself anyway. So everything is totally as she wants it, and she's got a nice little rocking chair in the corner where she could do some knitting. Again, Nifty Knitting is like one of those stuff packs that I really enjoy, and I think it's just, I feel like now whenever I have an elder in the game, whenever I'm playing with an elder, I just always make them knit. Like, it's such a nice, easy task. And it just suits the elder so much, and there's not a lot of packs that are like specifically designed with elders in mind, or like activities that are designed with elders in mind at least, and knitting really is one that feels like it just suits elders very well. I don't know why. I also, obviously, loads of young people knit, like that's not I guess like for some reason the meme, or like historically, it's like old people used to knit a lot, but I don't know, definitely nowadays I probably know more people under the age of like 40 who knit than I do over the age of 40. So yeah, it's definitely not just an old people's hobby at all. I'd love to be able to knit. It's such a cool skill, and I don't know, it's very satisfying to like make your own stuff. Although from what I hear from people, like it is actually kind of time consuming and expensive. Like I think buying wool is a little bit expensive, and obviously like it takes a very long time to, like, if you're going to knit yourself a whole jumper or something, like that's quite a big undertaking. So like it's certainly not more efficient, but you at least, I guess, have the satisfaction of like knowing that you made your own clothes. So, or get to like make it exactly how you want, so that would be pretty cool. But yeah, so I use this like slightly old-fashioned bed, which I kind of liked, because I kind of thought like, oh, maybe this is the bed that she's already had, and she like brought it with her to this house. So even though the rest of the house is modern, she's kind of like, so like the fixtures are modern, like the kitchen and the bathroom and stuff, but like some of the furniture she has brought with her is more stuff that she's already owned, and so is a little bit more old-fashioned some of the time, like the rocking chair as well, although I did have a very modern sofa, so I guess we can say that she bought that new. Maybe she treated herself to a new sofa, don't know why, but there you go. And yeah, now I'm just going through like putting some of those like final clutter touches in, a bit like I was talking about. I definitely wanted it to like feel very lived in, and yeah, like this sim is not necessarily a very neat or organized sim. Like she's yeah, kind of like classically like messy painter, I guess, and doesn't keep a super tidy house, and so I just, yeah, has a lot of stuff like lying around everywhere, and yeah, just like feels very lived in, I suppose. But yeah, honestly, this granny annex is so nice. I'm like, I would totally move in here like now. I don't need to be an old person. Like that would be nice to live in literally at any time, I think. And yeah, then also she has like a little bit of outdoor space as part of the annex as well, like just like, I mean it's only small, just like a tiny little balcony where she could like sit and eat something, I suppose, or just look at the pool or hang out, and yeah, just like spend a little bit of time out in the open. I had so much fun putting the painting studio together as well. I can kind of realise like why this took me so long now that I'm watching it back. Like there are a lot of different elements to this house, but I think it's just funny because literally all the other builds that I am doing for this Let's Play, like at least the 3 other houses are all way smaller, and kind of on purpose, I guess. Like the families are smaller, and like the houses, although like I might edit them a bit as we go along, like they probably will just stay smaller, but I feel like some of them only took me like an hour or 2, and this one literally took me 5 hours. I don't know, hopefully you can see in the build that I put a lot of care into it. Yeah, there actually is quite a lot of like painting clutter in The Sims 4, and I definitely don't own all the Sims 4 packs, so there probably like are other items that would have been good to have or good to include, that could have like elevated the decoration a little bit. But yeah, I don't know how anyone owns all the Sims packs. I mean, just like financially, obviously, like if you buy them all it costs a lot. I tend to always wait for the packs to go on sale before I buy them, which I think I did maybe with all the packs except for Rent, because I got very excited for Rent because of finally having apartments, so I think I may have bought that one full price. But yeah, aside from that, I tend to try and wait for the pack to have like been out for a little while, because they're often, I mean, I think there's a spring sale on at the moment. It probably might be over by the time this video is out, but some of the packs are like, I mean, a lot of them are 30% off. I have a feeling some of them are like 50% off. Am I making that up? I don't think so. So it does make like a very decent change to the price to buy them when they're on sale. So yeah, that is what I tend to do if I can, if I remember, and if I'm on top of like when when the sales are coming about, so that I can make the most of that. I haven't bought any in this spring sale. Again, I do have a good computer. I think it probably could run with a lot of packs, but I do get a little bit worried about just like adding like all the packs to my game and whether it would slow it down, or I know like some of the packs can be a bit buggy sometimes, so I probably don't want to add those ones. But yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, now we are moving on to furnish the main house. Obviously we did the upstairs bathroom because I just wanted to do that, but now we are doing the rest of it, and yeah, we're doing the kitchen at the moment. I want to do like a very like farmhouse style kitchen. I actually do change this layout a little bit in a moment. I can't remember quite when I do it, if it's like imminent or if it's in a few minutes, but yeah, I really wanted to be able to have a dining table with 6 chairs, because I mean, even that, actually there's 7 Sims in this house, including the granny, so like they can't even all fit around that one, but at least for now one of the Sims is an infant, so like, and another Sim is a toddler, so they can't sit on chairs anyway, so all the 5 Sims that can sit on chairs could fit around this table at the moment, which is nice. But yeah, I just definitely liked the idea that they were going to be able to have like big family dinner together, and yeah, I definitely wanted it to be like a kind of unpretentious family, so they don't have any like formal dining room or anything like that. Like I could have chosen to make the study a dining room, but I don't know, I kind of like having a study in The Sims, partly because it's like so important to have a computer just for like very many various like things that you need to do in The Sims 4. And there's also just like so many random skill building items that like I feel like you wouldn't really have in real life, and kind of almost only make sense to go in a study, I guess. Yeah, I'm thinking of like, I think in this house I put like a chess table in there, which, I mean, obviously I think a lot of people will own a chess set, like that's not super strange by any stretch, but like I don't know anyone I think who like has their own chess table. But for some reason in The Sims that's a really normal item, and it's been in like every Sims game since like the original Sims, I think. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, you just need like space to put those items, and like to me it just never quite makes sense to like, I mean, what, you could like have it in a kid's bedroom, but that feels, it's like slightly strange, or you could have it in the living room, but again that just also feels slightly strange. Like no one has like a proper whole chess table, like I said, I feel like, yeah, people have just like chess sets instead, and like there's the outdoor chess table, so maybe you put it outside, but then I'm like, again, I've never seen anyone with like their own outdoor chess table at home, so yeah, I feel like in The Sims it can be quite useful, or just to like have a dedicated study for like all those kind of items, put them in a setting where they like make a little bit more space. And yeah, I think I also put the dog's bed in the study. I definitely wanted the dog to have a proper bed, because I can't remember if they need one. They might be able to sleep in other places anyway, so maybe it's not super necessary, but I don't know, I just like, we have these like big windows facing out onto the back in this house, so I liked the idea that there was a space for the dog to kind of come and lounge out, and that would be pretty cute. But yeah, as you can see, I made the kitchen a little bit bigger there, and changed the layout of the downstairs bathrooms to accommodate that, so now there's just a laundry room over this side of the house, and the kind of downstairs loo moved to the other side of the house, next to the parents' ensuite as well. So yeah, this side of the house is kind of more the like public side of the house, not any of it's open to the public obviously, but as in like this is where the whole family would hang out, like with the kitchen in the living room, and then the other side of the downstairs is kind of like, I guess, a more quieter private space, and I tried to show that with their like little extra kind of like corridor that's separated by a little archway, because it just leads to a bedroom and a study, so I guess it's like obviously probably only the parents are going to be going into the parents' bedroom, and then the study might be used by like various Sims, but it's probably like a quieter area in general. And yeah, I don't really know who's gonna use the study, because there's no one who like works from home necessarily. I mean, I assume it's like maybe the dad uses it when like the kids are driving him nuts and he just like needs some quiet space to himself. Like has like a computer and bookcase and stuff in there, so it's like kind of a place for the adults to retreat to and go and relax. I do like the idea that maybe like the mum would work from home occasionally, and then she would have, because she's kind of like this high-powered lawyer, she sort of like needs her own private space to like go and actually do all her work. A laptop at the dining table doesn't quite do it for her, so she needs like a proper dedicated space. Yeah, so that was kind of my thinking with that. Yeah, we're just decorating up the hallway now. I did try to put effort into kind of every single room, I guess, in terms of decorations. Definitely wanted it to feel very real, like a real family's house, and having like lots of different decorations on the walls, and yeah, almost like they've kind of lived here for years and years. Because yeah, the oldest kid is a teenager now, so it's like, oh, maybe they moved into this house when the parents were just like a young couple and have slowly built it up and out and added to it as they've got more money and become more successful. I do enjoy this little decoration I put on the wall that has like 3 little kids' shoes. I'm like, this family have 4 kids, so clearly one of them just like didn't make the cut for that piece of artwork, those 3 shoes. I mean, I guess there's like an obvious explanation. You can just say like, oh, it was the first 3 kids before the last one was born, and then the last one wasn't included. But I found that kind of funny when I was doing it. I was like, oh, maybe there's like an odd bod child, because I was thinking, yeah, I guess like the toddler Luis is like a fussy toddler, so whereas the older 2 kids are like both, I think, kind of like musical and creative and like fit the sort of like grandmas and the family's vibe. Like maybe Luis, this toddler, is like gonna be the kind of difficult child or the outcast or something. And then the little infant Sophia is, I think I made her calm as her like personality trait, so she's kind of like quite an easy infant to deal with. I thought that would be fun. And so yeah, also as part of the Let's Play, I kind of tried to organise it so there's like a whole mix of people of different age ranges across all the families. So I think there's 3 elders in total, one of which is in this household obviously, and then there's 3 adults, 2 of which are in this household, and then 3 young adults, none of whom are in this house. Or maybe there's 4 young adults, I can't remember. There might be more adults than young adults, I guess. And then for all the kids, I wanted everyone to at least have like someone else who was their age. So there's 2 teenagers, 2 children, 2 toddlers and 2 infants across the 4 different families that I made, kind of like spread out. Obviously, yeah, like 4 of the kids, so like half of the kids are in this family, but there's another 4 kids like affiliated with each of the other families. And yeah, I guess it's like I'd quite like to start up like a little homework club that maybe at least like the teenagers and children could do together, because I think that would be quite a nice way of like trying to have all of the kids from the different families interact. I'm very keen that because the idea of this Let's Play is that it's like a neighbourhood Let's Play, so it's like all 4 of these families being played at once. So what I'll do is I'll just basically like take turns playing each of these families in the same order, and I can't decide like how long I'll play through them for. Part of me is like it would be quite nice to do like a whole week in each family's lives, but actually on short lifespan quite a lot happens in a week, so that may be too long, because that may just be like, oh, literally everyone has had a birthday and grown up like within the first week or something. So that wouldn't be that great. So maybe I'll do slightly less. Also depends, I guess, slightly on how long the gameplay itself takes, because I don't want the episodes to run on too long either, because I didn't realise it's kind of like a big commitment to listen to a very long episode of a Let's Play, although I say that literally while talking through a speed build which is 38 minutes long, which is probably going to be one of the longest videos I've had on my channel so far. I definitely try to keep them shorter than this in general, but yeah, this one just took me 5 hours, so this is honestly the shortest I could make it. And you know, there's no like dead space, like I've edited out like the pauses and stuff from this video, so yeah, I've really just took me a long time to do this house. Yeah, I wanted to put a lot of effort into the detail of it, I guess. But yeah, we've moved on to the like final few rooms. I just finished putting together the teenage boy Mateo's room, which you would have just seen. Yeah, I tried to theme it a bit around like rock climbing and music, and then this is the girl child's room, Anna, and again, liked the idea that she was into music, so I've given her a keyboard. So yeah, Anna has a keyboard, and then her older brother has the kind of like sound mixer thing. I actually can't remember what you call that item, but yeah, they're kind of like both into music in various ways. So I guess although their grandma's into like painting rather than music, it's all kind of like creative hobbies. You can imagine that like maybe the mum is kind of like telling them like, you need to study hard in school and get a, you know, proper serious job because she's a lawyer, and then the grandma is like maybe a bit more pro their sort of creative hobbies and like trying to nurture that, and is like, no, you should spend time playing the piano and like exploring your more creative side, and maybe there's like a bit of tension there. I thought that could be a kind of fun aspect. And yeah, now moving on to the toddler's room, which is the second to last room. I love this massive toddler's playpen that, what did that come with? Dream Home Decorator maybe, I think? Yeah, it obviously just takes up so much room, but you know, it's not that often you're like building a big house where you can like fit these kind of items in, so I definitely like tried to make the most of like having a lot of the big fun items in this house where it would fit in. And yeah, had a lot of fun making these rooms very cute. I tried to put, I think, just like every toddler toy I could find, although I don't know if all of them can be used by toddlers, but I hope so. I mean, if not, this child will grow up to be, or this toddler will grow up to be a child, probably not very long. Can't remember how long toddlers are toddlers for when you play on a short lifespan. I can only ever remember how long the lifespans are in The Sims 2 because I just played that so much. I know that toddlers are only toddlers for 4 days in The Sims 2 before they grow up, so potentially this toddler will also only be a toddler for 4 days on short lifespan. I should probably check that before I start playing, but yeah, and if it were the case, then it like maybe that literally this toddler like grows up within the first episode or something, although it'd probably be good to like try and play one episode without any of the members growing up, and then after that I don't mind if they like change a bit, but yeah, have the first episode be the families just like as they were created. And yeah, now we're moving on to the final room, which is the little baby infant Sophia's room, and again just doing a bunch of clutter, but that is bringing us to the end of this speed build, so I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned to watch the other 4 speed builds which are coming up. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.